Tier list Thursday?
Tier list Thursday. Is that a tier list Thursday?
A Thirlist Thursday.
Thirlist Thursday.
It's Thirsty Thursday for some of us at St. Paddy's Day, because that's what day it is too. Yay, all our Irish friends. John, you're Irish.
I was completely unprepared for this opening.
Well, yep. So was I the other day when you just punched me in the face. But you know what? That's Art of War. We got to be spontaneous.
No, I was ready for that one.
We're going to be doing some Tier List Thursdays today. It's our fourth day in our marathon stream of every day reviewing a different Force Org slot in the Eldar book. Today we're going through the Fast Attack selection, the wonderful Fast Attack selection, the reason to take Outriders, the Fast Attacks. John and I were actually shocked because there were so many good slots. The Fast Attack slot's always so crowded when you're building Elder List that we figured there were just more of them.
Yeah, there's only, I think there's only like 6 in the Codex. Then we tossed in Hornets because they're Fast Attack and Forge World. We also tossed in Planes, which we're going to make Nick look up what the new guns do.
I know what the guns do. They go pew-pew.
No, okay, no. I always thought that like Eldar-like weapons would be more like I feel like shurikens are like a hiss, like a kind of like a snake.
No, I don't like snakes.
No, it's like the shuriken weapons are shooting snakes at you.
Snakes. Oh, very, very St. Patrick's Day, in fact. Look at that. Puns for days. As always, we're going to be looking through this tier list as from the competitive mindset, so we're not going to be drinking them on their aesthetics or how cool they are, like scorpions, or not scorpions. Definitely not those.
But if we were to rank those, then they would win 2-1.
Right. So we're going to break them from tournament staples. You're probably going to see them in just about every list and go into tournaments. Strong in most lists, situational, overcost and rarely seen, and of course my favorite category, YGWY.
I don't think anything's going to make YGWY.
Well, we're going to find out. Out.
That is true. We 100% are. 100% are.
Before we find out, though, you should take a second and like, share, and subscribe to this video. Comment. That's wonderful. It helps us. Just helps us keep doing what we're doing and keep making awesome tier lists for you. Also, check out the Worm if you like content like this. That's where we teach awesome classes like the one we're teaching this afternoon is a coaching match. I'm playing against Mr. John right here with Eldar. And I'm going to be using some fast attacks.
How many of these fast attacks are you using?
Well, I have an Outrider and a Patrol maxed out, so you have 8 of them.
You have 8 fast attacks?
8 fast attacks.
I did not even notice that.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof. Going places out here.
I haven't actually read your list yet. That's a lot of fast attacks. It's going to be a real fast game. All right.
Yeah.
You ready?
We're ready.
You want to dive in?
Let's deep dive.
Deep dive. All right, let's start off with Reliable. I'm pretty sure this used to be a troops choice like a couple editions ago.
It really did.
Thank God it's fast attack now.
Yeah.
This book cannot handle these being troops.
So Windrider jetbikes, they are fast. They hit very hard with the new Shuriken stats getting updated. So even the 20-point base bike with Shuriken Catapult I like. The 30-point bike with the Shuriken Cannon I like.
I literally like all 3 tiers.
And Scatter Laser at 25. Yeah, they're just great.
Yeah.
They're fast. They're cheap. They shoot a lot. They battle focus, which is broken. B for broken. I think these are tournament staples. I think you're going to see them, if not in every list, they have a place in every list pretty easily, and they probably are in every list.
Yeah. Usually when I'm like building models, because I just built some of these, I like look at like the data sheet, because I built these after we had the codex, and I was like, oh, maybe like this looks solid. Like I'll do something with this. And I was reading through it, and I decided that I had to magnetize literally all 3 options, because I think all 3 tiers of Guardian Bike, Shuriken, Catapult, Cannon, and Scatter Laser, all 3 of them have made lists. I've written lists with all 3 of them in it.
Interestingly enough,
super solid.
When I first read the book, my first hot take, maybe not the hottest, I was like, Scatter Lasers, they have no AP. That's just not where you want to be today. And then Shuriken Cannon's 30 points a bike. That's not where you want to be either. But honestly, having now played with all 3 variants, they're all good.
They're all good. I really don't even mind the naked bikes. 20 points, like 60 for a little unit. It's annoying. It still shoots 18 inches.
It's like my Reaver unit.
Yeah.
But it also kills stuff.
Yeah, it's like a Reaver unit that's cheaper and shoots harder.
Awesome. S tier.
Yeah, and with a 3-up armor save.
Oh yeah, why do they just have that? I didn't used to have that.
Yeah, Guardians went from 5-up to 4-up, and they were like, well, the bike was on a 4, so he has better armor than the dude. Make him a 3-up.
Yeah, they're like unreasonably tough for what they are also.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally the same cost as an Intercessor, but you get 4 shots instead of like 2 or 3. Still with AP. 18-inch range. You move forever. You battle focus. Like Intercessors got nothing on the tournament staple Windrider jetbikes.
But this is one that I'm not a plane guy. Planes ain't my jam. But we have the Crimson Hunter over here. And I'm going to have to bust out the old-fashioned rules because it's been a minute since I've read about this Crimson Hunter. Mm-hmm. He hunts Crimson.
There used to be the Crimson Hunter and the Crimson Hunter Exarch. And then there's Hemlocks. We got planes.
So they got 2 Star Cannons, which you could replace with 2 Bright Lances, and it has got the Pulsar. So the Pulsar is the heavy 2, strength 9, AP 3, D3 plus 3 damage, and then if you get Bright Lance, it's going to shoot a lot of D3 plus 3 damage.
Yeah.
Obviously not coarse, it's not rerolling anything. Hits on 3s normally, then 4s and 5s. You can upgrade to the Exarch, and then hit on 2s, that plus 1 bliss skill.
Yep.
How many points is this bad boy?
How many points am I willing to pay for that?
How many points are you willing to pay for?
It's 4 shots, right?
4 shots. Well, if you get Star Cannons, it's 6. But
okay, but like if I'm doing the D3 plus 3, it's like 4 shots.
4 shots.
At that point, it's just like a tougher, better Ravager that can always be shot.
Can't be charged.
Can't be charged. Yeah, it's
movement.
Yeah, so like a Ravager's like 130, right?
Yeah.
I would pay like 160 to 170 maybe.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head. It is 170, and if you buy the Bright Lances to make it the version you want, it's 180.
Okay. It's not bad. I just don't think that
it's like fairly costed in an army that has unfairly costed things. So it's just, relative to the rest of the codex, it's overcosted.
Yeah, it's about as good as the Dark Eldar flyers, and we know how the rest of that book is costed.
Right. So, I think you could find situations to use it, but genuinely, I think it's overcosted, and you'll rarely see it.
Definitely the rarely seen. Rarely seen is perfect for this. There is someone out there who bought Eldar a while ago, and they haven't played them in a couple years. And you know what? This new book came out, and they just remembered, like, wow, I am a fluffy player who loves Eldar, and now is the time to remember that.
Well, let's not forget, for a while, Eldar used to be my 6 Crimson Hunters and my multiple Hemlocks, and now there's rule of 2 for full planes, so maybe people just want to put their 2 planes on the board because they have them.
Maybe those people who have 6 planes are selling them.
Probably not.
No?
You gotta have paperweights.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. If I had 3 of any one plane, I would sell one of them.
What about the 25 Carnifexes?
We can field 18 of them, and we don't have 18, so I'm down for this. Also, Carnifexes. Overcosted, rarely seen. Crimson Hunter, it's fine. The Exarch powers that you can get on it are cool, but they raise the cost. They make a ballistic skill too, but it doesn't do enough to make me excited about it. And again, we've talked about this a lot. Eldar's really good at playing non-interactive playstyles, and planes are part of that, but also planes can get seen.
Yeah.
All the time. And if the Crimson Hunter / Exarch is the only thing that can be seen, being a little tougher than average because it's -1 to hit is not really the difference maker.
If the meta was very heavy on foot infantry and combat that doesn't fly, it used to be, so it's not even like that crazy.
Yeah.
Then you could see good value for this thing because it can move block and it can not get charged by foot infantry and things like that. So it's got places, but not in today's gun world.
No. Overcosted, rarely seen, but it's not a YDWY.
But you know what's not overcosted or rarely seen?
Oh, you know what is undercosted and will be seen every frickin' day? Every frickin' list?
What's that?
All the time? S for S tier. Swooping Hawks.
Swooping Hawks. So I don't think Swooping Hawks were actually undercosted. I just don't think their rules should be allowed. Just teleporting after attacking. Like, we got rid of Soul Burst from moving 16 inches after attacking. That's not even nearly as far as an game-wide teleportation.
Yeah.
Not only can they just never take damage because they fly out, pump out 20 to 40 shots depending on your unit size. They're only strength 4 and no AP, but 6 to hit auto wound. Guy goes very far on that. And then you have Tomb and Jinx in this faction, so what does that matter?
Sure. You know, if you're BL10, you can give them reroll the hits with the Warlord trait, and then you give them exploding 6s on top of the fact that their 6s auto wound.
Yeah.
And
then they just go away. And then, okay, it's not even just that you can't interact with this unit. If you make it expensive, it's probably going to be one of your to the last. Not that Eldar needs to go out of its way for that. And then, of course, they can be used to get your retrieve data or engage when it's safe and just crush a backfield. Probably escort your big buddy Baharoth around while you're taking over the backfield. And, of course, Baharoth makes them OBSEC, and, you know, he's B for broken, so this is...
Yeah, and they're S for S tier.
I mean...
Swooping Hawks, they gotta be tournament staple, right?
Let's not even forget their Exarch. I'm not done yet.
Oh, no. I was ready to launch the stratagems.
The Exarch gives them just... give himself a 4 pinball, because that's whatever. And then the whole unit just gets a 5 of field pain.
That's the same half. Half a command point is 4 pinball for the sergeant. And, like, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's cool, but like the unit already has a 5 minimum. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And then I like kind of kept reading it, and it's like, and also the whole squad gets a 5 of feel no pain. I'm like, Whole unit gets fortune, whole game, half a CP.
Huh.
No, you could make them -1 to hit too.
Well, if you think about it, every time I cast Fateful Convergence with one of my tournament staple Farseers, I'm going to gain a CP. So basically, if I just cast a power, I get fortune all game long on my Swooping Hawks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like that.
That's pretty cool.
But then you also get like mortals on your banshees.
Well, 2 for 1.
2 for 1, right?
Bogo.
Yikes.
We got a $5 super chat from Matt. Oh, we can't not talk about this. While on the topic of fast attacks, I know that they are not top tier, but what was your guys' thoughts on Sam Hand, fallback in charge with lots of spears? Well, I think it's not the playstyle Eldar leans into most naturally, which is this non-interactive style. But advance in charge on fast-moving bikes is the only way to get it. It is awesome, especially because you can't. Everyone's bikes move the same speed except Sam Hand's because there's no more Quicken or anything. Well, Quicken is not what it used to be. So I think it's really good for that. That's a strat. And then fallback in charge, it's not really something Eldar need to go out of their way for. They have a strat to do it. And then typically Eldar just poof and explode when they get charged. They're not trying to stay in protracted combats. And they don't, they're not falling back much. But it's a good rule to have because sometimes do get bumped by a Rhino to shut you up or cost you command points. Now you don't have to. Mm-hmm. Appreciate your support, Matto.
Yeah, appreciate it. I just think Sam Hand doesn't give him enough to the whole list. It makes Shining Spears definitely better than anywhere else. But then it's like I have better Shining Spears and worse indirect / psychers / tank / aspect warriors. It's like, okay, I'd rather just have everything get a buff.
It's a very high opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Shall these Swooping Hawks swoop into S tier?
100%.
Tournament staples?
100% tournament staples. We haven't even mentioned their stratagem. Let's get where they belong.
What was that? Placement and strong.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. What are we talking about?
Their stratagem, where if they move over an enemy unit, which could be with an advanced move, you just roll a dice for every Hawk in the unit. On a 4-up, you do a mortal. And the worst part of this is that it's not for every model in the Hawk unit that moves over. It's just for model in the unit. So if one Hawk just like gracefully, daintily moves over your character, they're just gonna be like, here's 10 dice every 4-ups in mortal.
I need to rewrite my list for today's game. All right, this is insanity. I did not realize it was the one model just gracefully, daintily walks over.
Daintily flying over. Oh yeah, Jack did that to me. Like he had I accidentally put like a Void Weaver like just within 13 inches, so he can move 13 over it and then an inch back to stay outside of an inch. And I'm like, okay, well like only 2 are making it over, right? He's like, yeah, only 2 are making it over. Here's 10 dice anyway, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh, no.
That was one of those moments where I'm like, give me the book, Jack, and I was like, ugh, this is terrible.
Well, it's a good thing that exists. So Hawks.
Yeah, they can be shot by indirect, but
so can everything else. That's
everything else can.
The takeaway.
If your opponent doesn't have indirect, they literally can't deal with Hawks. If your opponent does have indirect and they have to shoot the Hawks, they have to be in range of the Hawks, which Tao's like actually going to struggle with. Because the Hawks are going to go from I'm shooting you to I'm all the way back. Like, it's a problem.
I'm not going to lie. Tau are probably one of the best armies at dealing with Hawks because they have mass indirect that just loves picking up toughness 3 garbage. But that's the only faction that's good at this.
Yep, and there is also everyone else. Dare you to find a Custodes player who has killed a Swooping Hawk. Like, maybe if I table Eldar and there's 10 Swooping Hawks still untouched, maybe I'll find an angle then.
No.
Like, even then, I don't know if I will ever shoot them.
But you know what could find an angle? This guy right here, the Hemlock Wraithfighter.
Hemlock Wraithfighter. Hold on. Can we make predictions?
Yeah, let's make some predictions. It's got a flamery gun.
I think it rolls to hit now.
You think it rolls to hit?
I think it rolls to hit now.
Okay, what's its strength AP damage?
I'm going to go strength 10 AP 4 damage too. And I think it went to D6 shots instead of D3, but it has to roll a hit.
All right.
And it's got 2 of them. Any predictions? Does that sound right?
It doesn't sound right, but I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I'm not willing to just be that wrong.
I think it's -1 damage.
It is heavy D6, 18 inches. It's a blast. You do have to roll to hit. Every 6 to wound makes a mortal wound in addition to damage.
That's nice.
Strength 12.
Oh, okay.
AP 4/2 damage.
That is better than strength 10.
All the normal stats you'd expect. Enemy units within 12 or suffer -2 leadership. It's -1 damage.
Mind War?
And it knows a power. Mind War. Mind War, Shards of Light.
Just explode some mortals up on people.
And you know who else is really good for leadership shenanigans? Mog and Ra and the Death Jester Firing Squad. They all have leadership rules. Okay, put this in situational because I'm going to make this situation happen.
Nick.
John, how many points is it?
Oh,
How many points is it?
do you want to know?
I want you to guess.
210.
210. That's what it used to be. There's no way it didn't go down. It is 210 points. Well, it's a little overcosted. It's a little overcosted, but I could use that situation where I'm doing the leadership bomb. We know how good leadership bombs are.
We also know how good -1 damage flyers are.
That's true.
And it is -1 damage.
That is really good.
That is really
And
good.
it's a flyer with psychic powers. This thing does not suck.
No, it does a lot. It's just that when you're -1 damage and the only thing that can be seen, it's not enough.
So this thing, I actually think it could work well in that like toughness-based Eldar army,
100%.
where we have because it gives you that army has no mobility or like low mobility. So you take things like Hawks. This goes well with it because it gives you some good stuff at range. And then
I really want to have 10 Wraith Blades, 2 Wraith Lords, the Avatar of Cain, 2 Hemlocks, and then with my remaining points, maybe 1 unit of jetbikes.
Well, I think you'll have a few more points than that.
Maybe
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
you did mention all of the overcost and rarely seen stuff in the same sentence there.
Well, the Avatar was situational.
This is the situation. Much like the
This is
Hemlocks.
the
So the
situation.
Hemlocks is situational.
I don't know if he sneaks in at 210.
I mean, can we put him ahead of the Crimson Hunter?
He definitely does more than the Crimson Hunter, but it's also so much easier to fit the Crimson Hunter on.
If situational gets a little crowded, can we move him up a slot so he's at the bottom of situational?
We can look at it. We
can
consider this later. We can revisit the Hemlock. It is really cool.
It is really cool. I always love
really
its
cool.
shake. I love its shake. I just read it and got happy. I hate planes when I like this plane.
Yeah, it's because it's a plane that's psychic and morale. And
Well, my problem with planes at their core is that all they do is shoot stuff. Like they can sort of move block, but people can move through them, and they shoot stuff. So it's like you have to be so good at shooting stuff that it just doesn't matter, which is broken for the game, which has happened in the past. Or you're not. It's very binary. You're good enough or you're not good enough. This guy's got a lot going on, though, so he's got some ancillary benefits, not so linear.
don't you miss getting charged by vultures? That was the most fun.
I just
That
saw
was
one of
the
your
most
vultures
fun.
in pieces in the garage. How the mighty have fallen.
I used 2 of them in the Apocalypse game, and one of them lived.
Let's move on to Hornets.
Let's move on to
talk about
Hornets.
vultures anymore.
So, Hornets are interesting. They get 2 heavy weapons.
Yes.
But they can get the Hornet Pulse Laser. Other than that, it's basically like a flying Warwalker. But I think it costs a little bit more. I think a Hornet is base 80 points. It's like 80 points if it has like the Shuriken cannons. But then it can potentially, I think it's like 90 points with the Hornet Pulse Laser. The Hornet Pulse Laser, if you take 2 of them, it's like 4 shots, like strength 7, AP 3 damage 2.
I think it's AP 2 damage 2.
AP 2 damage 2? That might be that. I was assuming a laser.
I always think of it like an autocannon.
It's like a Dev Doctrine autocannon.
It's like a Dev Doctrine autocannon.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's just I don't think that for 90 points I want that as my cheap fly around unit.
Yeah, so I think as a skirmishing cheap unit that can go out there and just die.
And be fast, yeah.
And be fast, a Viper will do its job better, or even 3 jetbikes will do its job better. So you actually want it to like play the peripheries and get angles and be a firing platform. Which it's not bad at, but it's a little lackluster. 4 strength 7s is not like this is powerful. It's like this is something. I think it's okay. I think because the fast attacks are loaded with value, you're going to fill them out with good stuff, and this guy's not going to make the force work even if he made his 90 points.
Yeah.
I just don't think you're going to see him much. I think he's rarely seen.
He's definitely going to be rarely seen for me. I don't even think he's overcosted. And he's definitely better than the Flyers. I don't mind him as like a double lance.
I don't think he's better than the Hemlock.
He's better than the Hemlock.
I don't think he's better
It's better than the Hemlock. Yeah, Matt Laura is saying Bright Lances in the chat. Matt Laura, I'm with you. I think Bright Lances is the best way to do it. I think you're right. You don't want to use it as like a cheap throwaway unit like your turn 1 Stranglehold because Eldar have other cheaper units in the same slots to do that. If I'm going to take Shurikens or Weight of Dice, Jetbikes just feel better than that.
Yeah.
But 2 Bright Lances, if I'm in one of the sub-factions that rerolls either a hit or a wound, yeah. Yoon says it's a very fast Warwalker. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, as a fast Warwalker, I can get behind it, but
I might even put it in situational.
the reason I don't like it being in situational, and the reason I would still take a Warwalker over this, is because the fast attacks are loaded. Like I'm not gonna make the slots for this. I've written lists. It doesn't happen.
That is true. What slot are Warwalkers? Are they heavy?
Which is also crowded.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
Also, they've been heavy for like the entirety of Eldar's existence.
Yeah, I've never taken a Warwalker. I've never played Craft Worlds. Even when I
what are you doing? I was too.
Even when I dabbled, it was like Harlequins and Eldar.
Unbelievable.
I think I took a battalion of Rangers once just to get CP, but I like Doom Jinx for my Harlequins. That's about it.
Let's move. I don't want to talk about these dark times. I don't. Because it's a fast attack. If this thing was a heavy and directly competing with the Warwalker, I would give it the edge over the Warwalker.
That's fair.
The fast attack slot is a real opportunity cost.
Yeah, I'll leave it in rarely seen. I mean, I was going to say, like, if you took a Patrol Outrider and you took 8 fast attacks, but you apparently managed to fill all 8 fast attacks in your list today, and you didn't take a Hornet, I assume?
No.
So,
I got 3 units of jetbikes, I got 2 units of hawks, I got 2 units of spiders, and I got 1 unit of spears. And that is 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 8, and this Hornet didn't make it.
All right. You know what? I'll leave it in rarely seen. I don't think it's overcosted, but rarely seen is definitely apt.
Yeah.
So
let's do the Shining Spears.
Oh, Shining Spears. Shining Spears are my favorite fast attack.
Really?
They really are.
They're not my favorite, but I do like them.
I like them a lot. Maybe it's because the model's cool and I want to paint them.
Well, we're not gauging that in the tier list.
No, I'm acknowledging the bias now because that's why I love them. But also because of what you can do with one squad of Shining Spears when you make them just absolutely slap.
So let me tell you about the Shining Spear Exarch.
Yeah, no one cares about the spears. This is just an Exarch.
The Shining Spear Exarch, you give him the Paragon Blade, which is an additional attack, and you give him an Exarch upgrade, so he's got 2 additional attacks. It's one from that to 6 attacks.
Yeah, 4 attacks plus 2.
Yeah, the Paragon Blade just rerolls all hits and wounds. It's only damage 1, but it's like good strength, good, amazing AP. It's AP 4. And then 1 damage. Rerolls hits and wounds. Then the Exarch upgrade you give him, this guy, is he does mortals on 5s to
5s to wound, yeah.
And he rerolls his wounds, and he rerolls his hits, and he's hitting on 2s. And what ends up happening is you have this dude walk in there with a bunch of attacks, and then he ends up saying, take like 4 or 5 AP4 saves and 4 mortals. And you're like, wow, that actually hurt a lot. Also, my 2 buddies, they got like 6 spear attacks too.
Yeah, just might as well poke in a little bit.
Yeah. And if you're BL10, you can do some Exploding 6 action. If you're Custom Craft Worlds up to it, you could do some Exploding 6 action. If you're not any of those things, there's still 3 jetbikes glued together with a 5-up invul for not that much more.
No.
It's, the thing I don't love about Spears as a unit is that's the good spear unit. After that, it's not like spears themselves are good. It's like spears are overpriced jetbikes.
Yeah, there's an Exarch that's good. By the way, you're skipping some of the best parts.
Oh, am I?
So the Exarch can take a Shuriken Cannon.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. It's 0 points.
I'm doing that in our game.
Yep. You don't pay for it. He just has the option of replacing his Shuriken catapults with a Shuriken Cannon. And there's just no points cost for that.
It shouldn't be.
So it's free.
Right.
So he just comes with the Shuriken Cannon. Yeah, back me up. I was like, oh yeah, Jack texted me. He's like, hey, you can take a Shuriken Cannon on your Exarch. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to pay for it. And he's like, you don't? I'm like, what? What?
So, Exarch, he's a little silly. He's like a badass character with like some ablative wound friends that also hit you.
Yeah.
It's like a little unit of bodyguard character people. It's really cool. But I think after that, I wouldn't really take spears.
Yeah. I agree. Spears are a 0 to 1 for me, where I want 1 in almost every list, but I have not yet written a list that wants 2. I could see Sam Han being the world where you want 2.
Yeah,
but that's the only one.
You would write a list like you could write a list that wants 3 even. But
sure.
You're writing a list that wants 3 because you're taking
you want spears.
You're building spears into your
the new plastic kit drops in the next couple weeks, and then you're like, oh, you know what I want to do? Buy 27 of them.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what the unit size is. I've only taken 3 mans.
I think it's 6 now.
Oh, is it 6 now? Okay, well, if you used to run 27 spears, sell me 9.
Let me see.
Reziel, unfortunately, we won't be talking NIDS for a couple weeks. We're going to wait until that actually goes on pre-order. Okay. So don't buy 27 spears, people. Buy 18.
I think we're... Oh, God.
I was going to check that it's actually free for the Shuriken Cannon, because that still offends me.
Oh.
Because, find out. I didn't actually look. Jack was just like, yeah, I just looked at the points and it's not there. I'm like, oh, that's silly.
I don't think he made that up.
I don't think he would either. I kind of took that on face value. I took the Shining Spear unit in a game against Richard last week.
It is free.
Yeah, great. Well, why wouldn't it be? And I was taking Build 10 and I spent the Exploding 6s on the Exarch. And I just went in there and got 8 hits with the Exarch. And then I killed a squad of Scorpec Destroyers with the Exarch. And there's 1 left and Richard's going to reanimate. I'm like, no. That was the first model.
Yeah. So do you think spears earn a place in tournament staples because of this one unit of dudes with the X-Arc, or do you think they're strong in most lists because it's just that unit of dudes with the X-Arc?
So strong in most lists is the minimum. Tournament staples, I think that they're good enough that they're going to make every list I write for Craft World Eldar because they're a unit that fits the way I like to play the game. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to make every list.
I agree with that. I've written lists that don't have them.
I have not. Sorry, that's not true. Once I figured out what they did, they've made every single list, and I haven't even looked back. If I had like a battalion, only 3 fast attack slots, they would still be one of my 3.
I mean, they are awesome.
I would put them, yeah. I would accept strong in most lists, but I would personally push for the bottom of tournament staples.
Let's do it. Bottom of tournament staples.
Bottom of tournament staples.
They're making it.
All right. I love it.
This is an interesting unit. Shroud Runners. This is like an expensive scatter bike that is tougher to kill, and it does some weird mortal wound shenanigans sometimes, and it's got a ranger sniper rifle. It's also got the ranger keyword for some weird interactions.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I think go ahead, sorry.
I don't know what to make of them. Because like I want to look at them compared to a scat bike. Right?
Yeah.
A scat bike is 25, a Shroud Runner is 35. So for 10 points more, you get a wound, you get a ballistic skill, BS2, and since they're not infantry, they're going to be hitting on 2s.
Worse armor but better cover.
Yeah, they get a 4-up armor, but they get light cover, and they have +2 in light cover. Even though they're bikes, they get light cover as if they were infantry. They have a rule for that. So if you keep them in cover, they're getting a 2-up instead of a 3-up. So kind of tougher in addition to the +1 wound.
But then a lot of the game also ignores cover right now.
And as soon as they ignore cover, they become more fragile.
Yeah.
They do have several cool... they ignore cover. They shoot someone within 12 inches.
That's good.
Which helps the AP dash part of scatter lasers quite a bit.
Alleviates, like I do masterful shots as my craft roll because it helps scatter lasers so much in part.
Yeah.
This alleviates that need a little bit.
They have good strats.
I think this is another situation of if this was the only unit that you could take that does the jetbike scatter laser roll, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's a great role to fill. But it's competing with everything it's competing with. I think these are going to be overcost and really seen. You can make the point for situational.
I would say situational, honestly.
What situational would you actually take these, though?
Okay, one, I like them in a Harlequin meta because they can throw out their... they have the 12-inch Tanglefoot strat, which also deals mortals. Mm-hmm. So that's really good into any fast combat army that hates mortals. Mm-hmm. I also really like that they ignore cover, so if you take them in a non-ignore cover, I feel like they're just better than scat bikes. Like if you're taking the ignore cover, I'm with it.
I mean, so if you're taking not ignores cover though, would you pay 10 points a model for ignores cover on your scatter lasers and a couple other stuff?
And ballistic skill 2 and +1 save and cover and +1 wound, and sniper rifles? Honestly, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess I wouldn't personally. I really wouldn't, because they also become one of your to the last. It's
105 points
for a 3-man, but I'm 5. I like 5 scatter bikes for 125.
Yeah.
Like for doing cost comparisons, it would
do
4.
I would take 4 personally.
140.
So it's 140, same cost as a Night Spinner or Phoenix Lord. You get your choice on who's it to the last. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't excite me. I get it. Yeah.
I get it. It's definitely not like a clear victor. So to me, it ends up in situational. But it's too close for me to say it's overcosted. Because if they were any cheaper, they would immediately go to tournament staple. Fine. If they were any cheaper, they'd be tournament staple.
Sure. They're situational.
So situational, I think, is fine for me.
Yep.
Jack actually loves them. Jack likes them better than scatter bikes. He likes them because they're ballistic skill 2, which means that they never get worse than hitting on 3s, and they're actually a lot better at killing Harlequin boats.
Yeah, they're not bad at that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And right now, he's very big on Eldar that can compete with Harlequins because he's worried about that matchup.
I'd be really concerned about taking Shadow Syrup, whatever they're called, in today's meta, because it's not just Harlequins, it's also Tau.
Yep.
And Tau will just pick these up like no one's business.
Yeah, they'll kill them about the same speed that they kill scat bikes.
Yeah, and you're just paying 10 more points a model to be killed.
Yeah, you get an extra one, but that's not enough. Happy St. Patrick's Day to Hugh Murphy from Irish WTC team in the chat.
Ah,
what's up, Hugh?
Hello.
All right, we got 2 fast attack slots left.
One of my favorites. Warpy Spidery Nose. Spiders, as they're called.
So, my favorite thing here, I'm actually curious. Do you know why Brad called them spiders?
Because he's weird and old.
Okay, so Brad calls them warp spiders because of a movie.
Yeah.
And Megamind, which is a good movie. You should watch it, everyone. And he like called them that in like his game against me. And I was like, I kind of like noticed. I was like, oh yeah, like Megamind reference. He's like, oh yeah, great movie. I'm like, all right, cool. We move on. And then in your game against Steve Pamprine in the War Room, you move your warp spiders and you go warp spiders. And Steve is like, Megamind? And you were just like, and kept going with your turn.
Brad has been calling them warp spiders since like he was dinosaur status. So
It's
when
not
I
like
met
a
Brad
new movie.
when I was 13 or 14, he'd been calling them spiders. So I picked up on spiders as a young little boy. The influence has been strong. It's not just like this movie is my reference. Brad Chester is my reference.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, I never heard you call them spiders until Brad came over and said in our
Well,
game.
Brad is kind of the inspiration, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
so when you see him, it comes to the fore?
Yeah,
It brings
right.
it out in
He's
you?
the reason I call it
Yeah.
spiders, but I don't like on my own. But when he's around, he's calm spiders. I get into it.
All right. Warp spiders.
They're awesome.
They're great.
They're
They're so good.
So they innately deep strike. They are
Solid.
They walk away from chargers. They move 6 inches whenever they get declared as a charge
That's
target.
Good. That's good.
That's very hard to deal with for combat armies.
Yep, and it's not a strat.
It just happens.
So you can't bait it out. Be like, oh, I'm going to like line up both of your warp spider units and see which one you use it on.
It's just gonna happen.
Not how that works.
Not only that, they can also.
Can't back it.
Rules is written, you can't redeclare your charge. Maybe they'll allow you to, because like Cerberus Raiders and other mechanics like Prowling Adjutant allow you to redeclare
Yeah.
it. But Warp Spiders currently don't. We'll see on that one. That's broken if they don't.
Yeah, if you can't redeclare, it's just
Then they just don't ever declare Warp Spiders a charge, unless you're like 1 inch away and going for it.
God, I hate that so much.
But then they also shoot really hard. Only at 12 inches, which is a saving grace, but it's D6 shots each, blast, and then strength 6, AP2. 1 damage, but who cares? Strength 6, AP2, blast.
Remember when they were
Doom
2
Jigs,
shots?
Sky, you know the drill.
They used to be like 2 shots AP dash, right?
It was 6s to wound or AP4.
True.
So they've gone up and down. Back in 7th, they used to wound you
Oh my
based on your
God.
initiative. Everyone's like initiative 4, they're strength 6. Whole game's wounded on 2s. It's crazy. You would actually take Slannish Demons who are like initiative 9 to be untargetable by Warp Spiders. It's a crazy meta.
Yeah, that was weird. And then if you shot them, they like teleported. That was the worst.
Yeah. So instead, now they teleport when you charge them, or when
Or when
after
they
they
shoot
shoot,
you.
because they get battle focus. But it's not just battle focus.
No, it's not.
It's 2d6 battle focus. So really get away from you.
Worry not, Nick. If they roll Snake Eyes, they take a mortal.
Ouch.
Yep.
So
if they roll Snake Eyes on that battle focus, they'll lose 1 model or take a wound on the next arc.
you know how all week when we're ranking these Aeldari units, where we always talk about this is a good unit, but it doesn't fit the playstyle of non-interaction. Well, you're seeing the non-interaction right here. The Swooping Hawks, they fly away. The Warp
This is the
Spiders, they jump
playstyle.
away. This is why I have 8 fast attack slots in my Craft Worlds list, which I'm using against John today in the War, which you should watch against his Harlequins.
Absolutely should watch that.
Also another good army.
Yeah.
We'll rank those 2.
Ugh. The Exarch powers they get are really darn good.
So my personal favorite is the one where they just leave, kind of Swooping Hawk style,
Yeah.
instead of making a battle focus move. Because, 2d6 sometimes isn't enough. So sometimes you just want to get the hell out of there. What do you like?
I like taking the +1 shot when they deep strike. I'll admit, when I first read it, I thought it was +1 shot all the time, and then playing it, realizing, no, it's only when they deep strike. But I like taking a 5 or a 6-man squad, buying that extra spinner on the sergeant, putting an extra shot in there, and then even when you roll bad, it's like, yeah, but also it's like +6 or 7 to this roll. So it's like this is enough shots.
Yeah.
They shoot so hard, and like they're not that expensive. They're not cheap, but they're not that expensive to the point where if I deep strike them, knowing that they won't battle focus, I deep strike, I shoot, and then they die. I'm not even mad about it because they're 3-up armor save. So if you deep strike them in light cover, it's like they don't just die. It's not like you get to point your bolt guns at them and like stop worrying about it.
Their biggest weakness I've found is mortal wounds.
100%. They did evaporate.
And they typically operate kind of on the front lines or behind enemy lines where they do get mortal wounded a bit. So that's like one way to deal with them, but otherwise they're insanity.
I've also found a lot of situations so far where I deep strike in a backfield on turn 3 after I've already like indirected some screens away, and it's an awkward point where my opponent's like, don't want to turn around my big shooting units. My little shooting units will do nothing because they have a 2-up and cover, and I can't charge them. And it's like, oh, sometimes the Warp Spiders deep strike in a backfield, you have removed the key threats that can deal with warp spiders, and your opponent's like, I literally cannot deal with 5 one-wound idiots in my own deployment zone.
Or not even that, but it's like synergistic. You have Hawks coming in the backfield after they shot the midfield. Yeah, Warp Spikers deep striking in the backfield. You got Big B, Baby Bird, deep striking in the backfield at his leisure. And all of a sudden,
behind them, like,
wow, I actually had some backfield protection. I actually had like screens, but he shot my screens with his Night Spinners, deep struck in the middle of his own shooting phase, and now they're here, and I can't turn around and deal with them. Not all 3 of those. Eldar just takes over. It's very powerful.
Yeah, they do.
They really do. They move in and kick you out, and then they take your lunch money too.
Yeah, they're not in your base. They're in their base. The fact that it used to be yours is not their problem.
Yeah.
In their own base, killing your dudes who used to live there.
Are these tournament staples? Are they
I think we have 4 fast attack tournament staples.
I really do.
They're so strong.
Well, all 4 of them are made my list, so you know what? Toss them in, coach.
I genuinely would have all 4 in my list as well.
I think they're ahead of bikes behind Hawks.
Ahead of jetbikes, not even... Okay.
I just love Warpfighters. They're so broken. They're so broken. You can charge a jet bike.
Yeah. We got a question from Addo, and that is, considering everyone has an Eldar army that has been stuffed in the closet for the past few years, how are we planning to win the mirror match? First of all, Matt, thank you so much for that super chat. We really, really appreciate your support.
It's a great question as well, Matt. Thanks so much. But I guess my approach to mirror matches is first identifying if it's a skill-based mirror or if it's a luck-based mirror or like if there's some edge to it. And by that I mean some mirrors are like certain Tau build, maybe triple storm surge, triple storm surge, 9 broadsides, 9 broadsides. That's going to go down who shoots first.
The Castellan mirror match, remember that?
Right. So that's a luck-based mirror.
Yep.
There's not much you can do there. Maybe take a tech choice in your list. Eldar versus Eldar, probably a pretty skill-based mirror because there's so much movement and shenanigans. Maybe it could be turn-based. Second player might have a big advantage in certain missions, but generally speaking, I would consider it a pretty skill-based mirror. So I'd look at anything tech-oriented, so like maybe I put more Farseers and get a big Eldritch Storm going, and maybe that's an option. Maybe I take things like Wraith Lords because they're tougher. Probably not because Eldar kill stuff. But that's the approach. Basically identify what the mirror's crux is on and then figure out what you can affect out of there.
Or like just find things that are more durable into your own profiles. So like for example, I look at like the Eldar / Harlequin mirror match isn't truly a mirror match.
No.
But something that I consider about Eldar is that Eldar are really good at pumping out mortals in all kinds of spots. So I took, in Harlequins, I take the relic of 6 Ajora, 5 up to ignore mortals. Even though it doesn't fit with my playstyle, I figure most games I'm just going to put that kind of transport, forget that he has a relic.
Right.
And I'm just down a CP. Yeah. But if my opponent has mortal spam like Eldar, I want to last a little bit longer. I want to be taking saves, not mortals. Saves, Nick. Saves. I think testing will show a lot. We may even try to get the Eldar mirror match on stream at some point, although that'll be hard to do because it's all painted green. We'll see. We'll see as they start to impact tournaments how the mirror shapes up. All right.
Finally, we got El Viperino.
Yep. Vip.
Vipers are pretty...
They're like totally fine.
They're like a land speeder storm that you can buy a gun. I think you use it like one where it could be used early on to move block, go out there, get in stranglehold, get engaged, block an alleyway. Like if you see a bunch of tanks. I see this all the time with kill rigs. People at kill rig between 2 ruins or knights between 2 ruins. You zip on, do that, a Viper right in front of them, and they're like, wow, you have ruined my entire turn 1 movement phase. Thank you, little Viper. So
good job, buddy.
That's a great use for it. You can buy it a gun, keep it on the peripheries, and just try to like do something.
It only gets 1 gun, so it's not credible shooting.
Well, with Fate Dice it could be, or with the reroll Craft Worlds.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just always worry with one-shot guns. Like, if I take 1 Bright Lance, my opponent's can just bank that invuln. On the other hand, played a game this past weekend where a Viper with a Bright Lance just was out shooting an Exorcist for 2 turns in a row because it just couldn't fail saves, and I couldn't make saves. And I was like, eventually, I was like, all right, someone needs to help out the Exorcist shooting this one stupid Viper.
But they're like that. They're like really annoying, stupid tanks like that.
It's a good engage.
I think it's situational. I don't think it's strong in most lists because again, it's competing with everything in tournament staples. But you can find a use for. I put it ahead of Shroud Runners.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Vipers are fine. A little costly compared to your other options.
How many points are they? Aren't they like 45 points?
I think they're 45, but then you buy them the Shuriken Cannon, so it's 55.
Is it 55? Like, what's the cheapest weapon load up?
I think it's a Shuriken Cannon. It's 55.
Okay, so 55 is the cheapest possible.
But if you don't buy a Shuriken Cannon, you're back to 45, and then you buy a 20-point Bright Lancer at 65, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So literally the same cost as a Storm. Storm's a great value for Marines. Like, I mean,
my biggest gripe with it is if you're going to use it for that turn 1 engage or move block or obnoxious thing, 3 jet bikes with 12 shots is 60.
Yeah.
So
very comparable cost.
I'd have to have maxed out my jet bikes on actually good units and then still want Vipers and then still have fast attack slots.
I literally think the problem is that a Viper is a fast attack, but like it can't be anything else. Like you can't look at a Viper and put this in heavy support or elite. It is a fast attack. And it will be forever.
Eldar have good fast attack. It's an Eldar problem. Instead of paying for points, they pay in slots. It's balanced.
Yeah.
Double Outrider.
Yeah, the fact that there are 4 tournament staple S tier fast attack slots is what keeps Vipers out of lists. If they nerfed 3 of those and didn't change Vipers at all, they'd 100% go on my list.
I guess we're not going to take single battalion Eldar.
No. No, Patrol Outrider just feels like a slam dunk.
They really do.
You can do Patrol Spearhead if you prefer the things that we're going to talk about tomorrow.
I could see double Outrider, John.
I like CP. like,
you get him back.
I know, but like I do like CP, Nick.
That's silly. That's a silly statement, John.
With Bright Lances, they're 55 points each.
Oh, I mean, take a Bright Lance. That's really good.
How much are they with cannons? Like, check this for me, Nick. If they're 45 with cannons, like that's so 40 points with a scat laser, according to Ian Power.
This can't be real. I don't believe you.
Tournament staple, put them in.
I don't believe. They're 40 base. They're 5 with a shuriken cans of 45, and they're 15, so 55.
And scatter lasers aren't an option.
Scatter lasers.
So they're 0 points.
So 40 points with just a scatter. That's cheap. That's cheap.
That is so cheap. That's like so much better than a land speeder Storm.
Well, that's not the comparison.
I know, but I'm an angry Marine player, and it is a 3-up save.
I mean,
oh, that's like.
Is this also? Is it better?
It's strong in most lists. There's no way that really is. It's 40 points.
Dude, you can run 9 of those things for 360 and just get all your scatter lasers. Slots. Oh my god. Eldar, why? Can we move it to YGWY? Can we move it there? Why is it so cheap? Actually, let's move all of tournament staples to YGWY.
Oh, Swooping Ox are YGWY. Strong in most lists. Warp Spiders, YGWY. Shining Spears. No, Shining Spears are just strong. They're not Y. Scatterbike's just strong. These 2 are YGWY.
Why did you let this happen to us?
They're so cheap.
Is this the final? Are we going to move them back? Or are we happy with this?
No, they can just move there. Why?
Oh, I can just imagine the comment section being like, "You guys said Swooping Hawks and Warp Spiders are bad." I'm like, "Yeah, watch the video."
We really didn't. we really don't believe that.
I think we're good.
How are they 40 points? I did not realize they were that cheap.
You know what the best part of this codex is and how you know the fast attacks are so broken? They're also broken, and I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I seriously didn't either.
I was like, there can't be more good stuff. I'm already maxed out on good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't go to the points. I read it. I'm like, oh, it's it only has 1 weapon. It's cheap and it's fast. I'm like, maybe I'll look at it. But I never got to the curious part because my fast attacks have been filled in every list I take.
What is happening? Double Outrider! Get him in! Put me in, coach! Who needs CP? You got stats!
Honestly, Double Outrider, where you have 3 solo Vipers in addition to your current 8 units, and then you put in 1 more unit of whatever you were short on.
I love my garbage, John. I love my garbage. Oh, we have Viper.
So good!
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to change my list for this stream, including 9 Vipers coming in hot.
Don't do that.
Don't do that,
Don't do that. Yeah, they're really good in the custom shuriken, because the shuriken's only 5 points.
Oh my god, I'm custom shuriken ignores cover! What am I doing?
That's a lot of shots. They don't split up, right? They stay squad.
They're squads.
Oh, okay. Not that makes me feel a lot better, but just checking.
3 at 45 each is 135. That's the magic number.
Yeah, 135 is the magic number.
Okay, I need to process this and sit down for a couple days, but everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the broken fast attacks that are the Eldar army. You thought the troops were lackluster. You're like, where's the power? Where's it coming from? I showed you. Right here. Here. We got half the thing is in YGWY because it's so broken. Oh, jangles.
Alright, well, if perhaps you want to see some of this Eldar in action, if you want to see Nick Nonvati put at least 8 fast attacks on the table, you should tune into the War. And we're playing a game in about an hour and 15 minutes that is going to be Nick Nonvati on Craft World Eldar into my Harlequins. 8 fast attacks, 0 fast attacks. Somehow, my army's still faster than his. Don't even worry about it, folks. If you want to check it out, maybe you're going to appreciate seeing a commercial for the War Room.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our website. Bye-bye.
There's so many rules in 40K, hundreds of events, and constant updates. Skip the learning curve of Warhammer and join the pros. Art of War is led by multiple world champions with decades of success. We teach clinics, stream games, and inspire you to succeed at your favorite hobby. Join our global community of gamers just like you.